Hello all. In this video, let's talk about the basics of deep learning. And in this video, I'm going to cover about scalar, vector, matrix, and tensors. Okay, so let's directly jump into our notebook. So this is the same notebook that I used last time. So I'm clicking on edit and deleting all the cells here, right? And I'm clicking on reconnect here. So let's see whether it is connecting. Just give a second. Okay, this got connected. This is good. And we don't have any CPU over here. You can see it over here, or else how we can get to know. I will just do it. Let's delete all the cells. Start with this one. Import torch, right? Print torch dot version. Let's see whether this is working fine or not. Okay, so this is the version that we are using, and then let's see what kind of device that we got connected. Device is equal to CUDA if torch dot device dot is available, else let's consider this the CPU. So we haven't connected to the CPU yet, so when I run this one, so basically it will show the device that we connected is the torch dot CUDA. Sorry, mistakes, coding mistakes, it always happens. So CPU. So let's talk about the matrices. So today what we are going to cover is we are going to talk about scalars, and then vectors, and then matrices or matrix, and then tensors, right? Cool. And let's see how we create a variable. So for example, if it is single variable, then we call it as a scalar. So for example, scalar is equal to torch dot tensor of, let it be the valuable variable, something like let it be like some 7. So print scalar. So now you can see that we have created a variable and we have named it as a scalar. So basically, scalar means, if a tensor is having like one variable, so then it is a scalar. So right, it is a tensor 7. So let's see what is the dimensions of this scalar value and dimensions, and it is 0. Okay, let's see the shape of this one. So the shape is like null, nothing. So for example, or else if in case if you're comfortable with the size, you can also do the size. Size is a function, so always ensure that you put these brackets open whenever you're calling a function, so the same output. If in case if you would like to have just the 7 over here, so basically what you have to do, scalar dot item of item. So basically what it returns is a 7 value. And now let's talk about the vectors. So how to create a vector? So a vector has at least like one, has at least more than one value. For example, torch. So torch is the library that we imported here. Torch dot tensor. Sorry for the spelling mistakes, typos. And for example, I'm creating a tensor as 7 by 7, 7 comma 7, or let it be 7 comma 8. So now you can see that I have created an array inside this open brackets, and then I have given two variables, two values over here, right? So let's print the vector. Oh, this is good. You can see 7, 8. Let's see the how many dimensions are there in this vector. Okay, now it has two dimensions. Or one thing you can see that one. So basically, you can just remember like there is one array over here. So it is like the dimensions is one. And then let's see the size of this one. Mm, okay, so it's a 2. So basically, there are like two values. So it is like 2. Or you can also do the vector dot shape, right? You will get the same output. And also let's see, if in case if you want to get this output now, instead of printing like tensor 7 comma 8, for example, let's think like you want to print this 7. Okay, so if you do something like vector dot item, then we will come across an error because now our tensor, it has two elements and it cannot be converted to a scalar because the scalar always has one element. So what we have to do, we have to use this one. So let's call the first element 0 because there is only one array inside. So I just kept one array and let it be like 0. So basically it jumps into this one. I mean, this is like the first index, the second index. So I have indexed for the 0. So the output will be printed as 7. So now let's see how we can get 8. So how you know? So call the variable dot item, right? And instead of 0, I'm going to call the index position 1. This is 8. For example, if in case if we have an array of, for example, like 1, okay, 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4. So basically, if you in case if you want to call the first one, so in the array there is a concept called index. So in the index always starts from 0. This is always confusing. So if in case if you want to call something, if you want to call access the one value over here, so basically you have to index for 0 value. If you index for 0 value, it will print 1 value. For example, if in case if you want the 4, so 0 1 2 3. So array of 3, right? So you will access the 4 here. Okay, this is cool. And what exactly is a vector? So basically, if you see, a vector has both magnitude and direction, right? The magnitude represents the length of the vector. Again, we're talking about vector all the times, and what is exactly a vector. So let's look at a triangle and let's understand what is the vector over here, right? So Pythagorean formula. So I'm sure that we all learned this when we are doing when we are studying like schooling. So here, let's assume that this is the vector. We are calculating the vector of this one, the magnitude of this one. For example, there is a triangle over here. You can see that there is B, and the C. And we all know that to calculate the C value, so basically what we do, we use the square root of A square plus B square. For example, let's see this one. If the A value is 3 and the B value is 4, let's assume this one, right? Um, so A value is equal to 3, B value is equal to 4. So now what the formula says, C is equal to square root of A square, A into A plus B into B, right? So this is the same formula which is available here. C is equal to square root of A square plus B square. And now, so we know that C is equal to square root of A value is 3, 3 into 3 plus B value is 4, 4 into 4, right? So is equal to how much? Square root of 9 plus 16. So is equal to square root of, sorry, 16. So square root of 25. And we all know that square root of 25 is equal to 5. So if the value of A is equal to 3 and if the value of B is equal to 4, the value of the C, the direction, the length of this magnitude of the vector, it's like 5, right? Simple. So this is the magnitude of a vector. And the next one represents the direction. Which direction? So this is a little bit about the vectors, right? So let's jump into the matrix, right? So we all learned this matrix when we were doing schooling. Again, let's go back. So for example, matrix is equal to torch dot tensor. Again, if you see this one, I'm repeating the same again and again whenever I'm creating a variable. So whether it is a matrix or whether it is scalar or vector, it's always a variable. So whenever I'm creating a variable, so I'm always using this torch dot tensor. So this is how we create the variable. Okay, so here I'm going to give at least like two arrays, this one, right? And then one more, for example, 1 comma 2 comma 3, and then 4 comma 5 comma 6, right? Let's print our matrix. So it will print here. So you can see that there are like two arrays, 1 2 1 2, and we have like six elements. Let's see how many dimensions are there. So now the dimensions will be two because of two arrays. This is like too good. And matrix dot size. Okay, let's talk about the shape. It's 2 by 3, so basically it has two rows and three columns. So I mean, if you print the size as well, it is the same. By this time you might have understand that both size and the shape both are same. And then let's do this one. So for example, if you want to access the just one value over here, whenever you print the matrix you get 1 2 3 4 5 6. Let's try to get access one. So now if you see, there are like two brackets over here. So I'm going to do like matrix of, so I want to access the first one, this row, right? And then I would like to have the first value, the way the index is 0 dot item. So basically it gives you the one. So let's assume that we want to get the value of 6. So how we have to do? So the index for this one is 0, the index for this one is 1. So matrix of 1, and which column you want? 0 1 2, second column, right? Second column dot item. So basically it prints 6, right? So that's all about the matrix. Let's talk about tensors. Okay, so again, tensor is equal to, again, this name, whatever you want to keep, you can keep this variable name, because we are specifically talking about vectors, scalars, matrices and tensors. I'm naming it as a tensor. So torch dot tensor, right? So one, okay, this one, and then I'm going to give one more array also. Okay, and then so here 1 comma 2 comma 3, 4 comma 5 comma 6, you can have n number of elements, right? 7 comma 8 comma 9, right? So now let's print our tensor. Okay, so let's see. So what is the, how many dimensions are there? And dim. So basically now it gives like 3. Why it is giving 3? Okay, so now you can see that there are like 3. So it is giving the dimensions as 3. Tensor dot shape. Okay, let's do the shape first. And you can see, it's like 1 3 3. For example, if you multiply all of this, 1 into 3 is equal to 9. There are 9 elements over here. This is really good. And what is 1 over here? So basically 1 means this one, and there are like 3 by 3, right? So the same, if you look at the size, the same it gives. And now let's see how we can access the first element over here, like how we did earlier. So tensor of, so this is the first index. So I want to 0 0 0, right? Dot item. We got this one. We got this one 0 0 0. We got this one. If in case if you want to get the 9, it's very easy. You pause the video here and you just do it on your own, and then come back and see like how to write the code for this one. So tensor of 0, because this is the 0, this total is the 0. And so what do we want? We want like 0 1 2, and the column is 2 dot item. So you can see it's a 9, right? So let's see one thing. I mean, so far we have like only one matrix inside, right? Let's have like multiple matrix inside. So basically what I'm going to do, tensor is equal to torch dot tensor. Okay, right? So right, 1 comma 2, okay, 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4, 5 comma 6 comma 7 comma 8, you can have n number, 9 comma 10 comma 11 comma 12, right? And then I'm gonna have one more. And so I'm keeping like 0 comma 0 comma 0 comma 0, all zeros, and ones we can have any number, twos, right? So print tensor. Okay, so we have printed this one. Let's see how many dimensions are there. Tensor dot n dimension. So you can see it's a 3 dimension one. So it's calculating this one, how many are there. Okay, so tensor dot shape. So now it is 2. So because we have this one 1 and this one 1 2, so it's like 2 comma 3 by 4. So there are 3 rows and 4 columns. Is good. So tensor dot size as well, it gives the same, if in case if you're comfortable with the size. Now, let's see how we can access the elements using the index. So tensor of 0, I'm going to get the first one. Okay, 0 0 dot item. This may throw some. Okay, 1. So if in case if you want to go, if you want to access this one, so basically what you have to do, tensor of 1 0 0 dot item, it will give you the 0 1, this one. If in case if you want to get the 12, so how you can get it, tensor 0, so this is like which row, the second row, I mean third row, which means second index, and fourth column, which is like third here, dot item. Nice. That's all about the differences between vectors, scalar, vector, matrix, and tensors. So in the next video, I'm going to cover about the random tensors. Thank you all.